Today we're going to be talking about tinnitus, and it could be pronounced tinnitus in the video because we don't know, but I did Google it beforehand, and it is pronounced like tinnitus. And here's evidence of the Google pronouncing it right now. So we're going to try for tinnitus. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up, and if you can, just share the video with someone you think would love this information. Another quick disclaimer, we're not going to get into any of the regulation changes around tinnitus because they're not final. So we can't speak to anything that's going to happen because it hasn't happened yet. But trust us, as soon as we know what's going to happen, we will be letting you guys know from our professional point of view how it's going to affect you and your claim. Now, with all of that wonderful long intro being said, I'm here with Shelly. How you doing, Shelly?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Now that we know that it's pronounced tinnitus, you have a case that you would like to talk about that deals with tinnitus, that has
Sure.
some stuff that people can learn from.
Yeah. So first, I'll say that tinnitus is an extremely common disability for military veterans. Obviously, the amount of noise exposure that they all have is very, very high.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most claimed conditions at the VA. Right now, if you have tinnitus, it's a 10% rating, and that's a max rating. And it doesn't matter if you have it in your right ear or your left ear, both ears, it's a 10% rating and only one. That's the rating for the condition. What we've noticed in a lot of our cases is that there are a lot of what we would refer to as secondary or other conditions that kind of are either coming from the tinnitus or might be the cause of the tinnitus. And it's something for us to kind of dig into when we see a veteran that has that. It could be like hearing loss, migraines, a number of different things. But in this case, we had a veteran reach out to us and say, I have this ringing in my ears. I know it's from my military service. And then as we started digging into the case, we started realizing that this person has some really unexplained vertigo. I'm like, okay, so now we have tinnitus and we have vertigo. And then we're realizing that this person also has some hearing loss, things like this. And so we get the 10% rating for the tinnitus, but then we decided to have one of our medical experts look into the file. And we were able to get the veteran a proper diagnosis of Meniere's disease.
Okay.
And so it really tied everything together with the vertigo, the tinnitus. Meniere's disease is an inner ear disease that creates these things, and we were able to service connect that to the veteran's military service, which allowed for a much higher rating than the underlying 10% of what the tinnitus would have been alone.
Got you. So in this specific case, it was an instance of once we dig a little deeper,
Correct.
we find that the problem is much bigger.
Right. Because the veteran had no even thought that the vertigo was related to the tinnitus. He just had never put it together. And so it just took us kind of looking at the pieces, looking at the evidence, putting it together, and then using our resources with the medical experts that we work with and saying, hey, take a look at all of these symptoms and give us your opinion. And that's what they came back with.
And I've sat through a lot of lives with Carol and Matt. I've done a lot of these videos with you guys, and I've realized that that's something that keeps popping up, is that it's not often just one thing
Right.
that is wrong when you get service connected. Usually there's something stemming from that. There might be another problem that is connected to it that you can find. What is the process for adding those other things when you find them?
So it's actually quite simple. You can file for any secondary condition to a primary service connected condition. So another instance for tinnitus is, let's say you're service connected for that at 10%. And we can have a secondary condition of a sleep disorder. Maybe you're not able to sleep at night because this ringing is keeping you up. Some people get migraines in the mornings or during the day from the ringing in the ear. All of those would be secondary conditions that we could file in addition to the primary tinnitus at 10%.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is definitely something, is don't overlook the connections that you can have.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, and as always, hit that subscribe button below. And if you have more questions on tinnitus We do have a link in the description below that you can click on that'll take you to an article all about it if you would like to read more, or you can click one of these videos that is another deep dive on tinnitus. As always, thank you for watching and thank you for your service.